going on, BookTube? Here with one of them there tags. And this is the, gotta look at my note, top 10 nonfiction books tag. Original by Lukas over at Totally Pretentious. And I think I commented on one of his videos and I was like, Totally Pretentious. It's a great name for a BookTube channel. So, to my knowledge, I haven't been tagged yet, but I'm going to do it anyway. Different folks that have done it, it's like, hey, if you haven't done this, and I think Lukas himself said, go for it. So that's what I'm going to do. And by the way, this is a difficult tag. I thought it'd be a walk in the park, but it's not. If you have a lot of nonfiction stuff laying around, and I'm sure a lot of booktubers do. So these aren't in any particular order, but number one is just that. Number one. So let's get going here. This is a book that I picked up when I was in a cultural anthropology class, and it's called Pretty Shield, Medicine Woman of the Crows, originally published as Red Mother. And any time that I can gain some insight into Native American culture, yeah, I'm into that big time. Then we have Night Comes to the Cumberlands, a biography of a depressed area by Hiram Caudill. And this pretty much is a record of what happened when the big companies came in and they stole the land from the people that lived here, and you know, it's an isolated bunch of people, and you know, to this day that's still true to a certain, you know, degree. I've been through this book a great many times. It's pretty amazing. Actually used it to do a little research for my novel on coal camps. So I don't know what this is. Smithsonian National Associates. Probably something I got in the mail. Anyway. Night Comes to the Cumberlands. Hiram Caudill. Read it if you get a chance. Actually, I think I sent Mark Richardson a copy. Yeah. No pressure, Mark. Then we have Sun Chief, the autobiography of a Hopi Indian. Don C. I know I'm going to mess this up. Talayevsva. He was basically caught between the two cultures there when they were basically trying to what's the word I'm looking for? What did I just say? When they were trying to basically acculturate, it's acculturation, but you basically try to turn someone to your way of thinking in terms of religion, behavior, dress, all that stuff. So sorry it wasn't a bit more articulate. It's been a long day, and I put this video off for a while, and you get tired, and my way of relaxing is a couple of these. Trust me, whenever you have issues, pain-wise, a little bit of booze helps. Anyways, let's get away from that. Couldn't keep it to myself. Wally Lamb and the Women of York correctional institution. I saw Denise Cooper read this, and the backstory on a lot of these women that are locked up is it's both fascinating and sad, because a lot of people think that just because you're in prison that you like did something awful, that you actually, you know, it was premeditated. But again, had a discussion with her. It's probably been a year or so ago, and you know, I could be in the clinker. There might be some other booktubers out there too, but just we got lucky. So there you go. Pardon me. Then I have by J.C. Cannell, The Remarkable Life and Magic of the World's Greatest Escape Artist and Conjurer, The Secrets of Houdini. And again, Harry Houdini was a pioneer. And when you see how the tricks are done, you're like, oh, you know, why didn't I think of that? Well, that's because you weren't as clever as Houdini. And I know Penn and Teller, they've pretty much broke down, you know, everything by every magician. And even when you see how the trick is done, it's still, it's pretty fascinating as far as, you know, how creative true magicians are. So I am a big fan of this book. And I love that picture. The Neandertals, Changing the Image of Mankind, Erik Trinkaus, Pat Shipman. I've always been fascinated by Stone Age cultures, whether it's in the Americas or any other place. Just love that stuff. Then we have the Vikings, Voyagers of Discovery and Plunder. And I know everyone, you know, when someone mentions Vikings, you see a guy with big horns and, you know, running there hacking people to death and stuff, but there was a lot more to them than what the cinema and, you know, as far as they're portrayed in, you know, TV shows, commercials. It's all, you know, you kind of get, you want to get past that and get into the real meat of Viking culture. And some of you may or may not know, but some of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings stuff was taken from Viking mythology, and I can't remember who told me that. But that's worth looking into. I mean, and there are some vampire books and movies that also do the same thing with their thralls and the hierarchy. I hope I'm right on that Tolkien thing. I may not be. Then there's Easter Island, Earth Island. Fascinating culture who got into building monuments to the point where they basically imploded upon themselves. Rapa Nui. And if you look up Easter Island on a map, it's amazing that anybody back then actually found it and settled on it, and they were thriving until they got into building the moa. That was Captain Cook. Came across it on Easter. Cool, cool. Amazing. And not only was it a culture, but it was an isolated culture, which sometimes leads to what I would describe as deviant behavior, as in you're not doing what's best to prolong the life of your culture or your people. So then we go on to the riddle and rediscovery of a lost civilization, the Maya. Charles Gallenkamp. Again, fascinating stuff. I am totally into, like I said, ancient cultures. I wish I could find that one. It was actually on Ancient Aliens. Like, hey man, the guy's piloting a spaceship. Then I have to say, if your imagination fills in, it's feasible, but or believable. Anyway, I can't find it right offhand, but it's probably in here. Again, just looking back. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've read this one a few times. Before I do number one, the book, I have an honorable mention. Hiram Bingham, Lost City of the Incas. It's published by the Folio Society, or in conjunction with. Originally published, copyright 51 in the state of Hiram Bingham. Of course, he found it in 1911, 1912. It's all about Machu Picchu. Let me see if I can find this description here. Like I said, this honorable mention here. Flowing lines, symmetrical arrangement of the ashlars, and the gradual gradation of the courses combined to produce a wonderful effect, softer and more pleasing than that of the marble temples of the old world. It seemed like an unbelievable dream. Dimly, I began to realize that this wall and its adjoining semicircular temple over the cave were as fine as the finest stonework in the world. It fairly took my breath away. Always wanted to go to Machu Picchu. Never had the opportunity. My uncle visited the place, and bless his heart, he got altitude sickness and had some problems, but he said he still wouldn't change it. So I got to talk to him about it. Number one. One of my favorite nonfiction books, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown. And I'm not going to say that everyone should read this, but I think a lot of people should. Just, it's really, really sad. But again, one of my favorite photographs, Satanta. Not sure why, but when I was a kid, I was looking through this and I was like, something about that picture. Can't really explain it. So that's it. Top 10 nonfiction books. Tag. Created a good tag there, Lukas. So I don't know who to tag because various people are doing this. Some of my friends have been tagged, some have not. The thing is, I don't know, who amongst my friends have read a lot of nonfiction or have not read a lot of nonfiction. So if you're game, do it, go for it, all that good stuff. Thank you, my friends, for sticking around. Again, my apologies, I'm really tired. I'm usually a real chipper guy. Cheers, my friends. Don't forget to give this video one finger up, subscribe, like, dislike, whatever. But as always, thanks for watching. Bye.